Let's get you those guys. Connor Johnson of Seaholm, Dade Collins of Deer Park, Travis Donan of Lindbergh, Daniel Amon of Deer Park, Patrick Gibson of Squalicum, Cody Gould of White River, Poli Baltazar of Aberdeen, Sean Eustace of Washougal, Sam Holman of Archbishop Murphy, Samuel Geiner of Interlake, Mitchell Montgomery from Cedar Crest, and Logan Orndorff of Cedar Crest, Joe Charbonneau of Bellingham, Nehemiah Barrett, Franklin Pierce, Maverick Knowles out of Mark Morris, Marcus Dixon of White River, Nolan Woodard of Deer Park, and Jeffrey Ott of Ellensburg. It looks like, as we go over the times here, Patrick Gibson of Squalicum is at 9:07 qualifying time, and that is about 15 seconds better than the closest qualifying time. So keep an eye on Patrick Gibson of Squalicum. He finished second last year, and he comes in with a huge advantage. There's the gun, and we're underway. 8 laps, 3,200 meters. And this pack you're watching right now will thin out.
The meet record for this event, Carl, 9 minutes, 5.88 seconds, set in 2007 by Chris Kwiatkowski. He's about 5 years old.
Gibson quickly moves out in front. Let's go back to the pole vault. Well, that vaulter from Nathan Hale is Lev Marcus, and he's going to have better vaults than that.
I think so.
So the runners staying pretty close together, tightly packed here in this first lap, but we expect them to spread out. That is Patrick Gibson out front. Right on his shoulder, Marcus Dixon of White River. 1 lap down, 7 to go.
Why don't we pass along some of the final standings real quick, if we could, Carl, from the girls' triple jump, 4A girls. Courtney Jost of Gig Harbor won it. Also, Nautry Brown placing second out of Garfield. Then Curtis's Kelly Cronick came in third place. And then officially for the boys, the 4A boys, 4x400 meter relay. Federal Way was first, followed by Skyline, and then Union. Those are the top 3 qualifiers. Also making the final race, Wenatchee, Garfield, South Kitsap, Gig Harbor, and Arlington. So congratulations to all those teams.
Okay, coming around the turn here for their finish up the second lap. Back to the pole vault quickly. And there's a clear and a nice reaction. I believe that's West Valley's Zane Irvine. It is. And so he is the second vaulter we have seen to clear 14 feet. Irvine's over 14. And Eastmont's Walker over 14. Other vaulters still in the competition. We're done with 2 laps in the 3,200. And Mike, we've got a little tighter pack than we've had in some of the other distance races right now. It's still Gibson out front from Squalicum, and White River's Marcus Dixon is right there on his shoulder, but there's not a lot of distance between those top 7-8 runners.
He took the words right out of my mouth. I was expecting the field to be a little bit more strung out. It's starting to get that way now as we see 3-4 guys kind of fading back a little bit, but for the most part, you could say at least half the field is very much in this, if not more.
Easy pace being sent by those front runners. Teammates back there in 6th and 7th are the kids from Cedar Crest, Mitchell Montgomery and Logan Orndorff. 5 laps to go.
They got a pretty good pace going. Already getting through 3 laps. That was pretty quick, I thought.
Poli Baltazar is in third. He's from Aberdeen. And Cody Gould of White River is in fourth. So White River has two of the top four. Cedar Crest sitting right in there at 5 and 6, and it bunches up again as those bright yellow jerseys come up and close the pack on the leaders. We have 6 runners in that lead pack. Out front still, though, Patrick Gibson of Squalicum. And right on his shoulder, Marcus Dixon of White River. It'll be interesting to see if Dixon can hang in there. His seeding time into the meet is 30 seconds behind Gibson's, but he's right there with him as we're halfway through the race. Back to the pole vault. This is Columbia River's Kevin Sanderson going for 14 feet up and doesn't quite make it. Kevin's dad, Art, is his coach. Art Sanderson, a great distance runner from Washington back in the 1970s. And his son is, there's Art right there in the gold and the yellow.
There he is.
He's working his son really hard, talking about the technique, when you're supposed to bend, when you're supposed to release. Look at that. That's a pole vaulting coach for you. Look at that. I love it. And that man was a distance runner. He had nothing to do with the pole vault until he became a coach. All right, here we come. Finishing up lap number 4 in the 3200 for the boys. 2A with Patrick Gibson out front, right there on his shoulder, as it has been the entire race, Marcus Dixon.
Boy, a lot of these 3,200-meter races, Carl, we've seen it down to like 2, maybe 3 at the most through 4 or 5 laps. And we got more than that.
There's another vaulter over the bar at 14.3. And that's, again, Eastmont's Burley Walker. So as far as we can tell unofficially, that is our leader in the pole vault. 4 runners in the lead pack, just a few steps back to the 5th runner. And when they get to the start-finish line, they'll have 2 laps to go. West Valley's Zane Irvine balks in that attempt. Gibson first, Dixon second. Baldassar fades down to 4th as one of the Cedar Crest runners moves up into 3rd. No, check that. I've been calling those the, well,
That's Deer Park, I think.
those are the Deer Park runners?
Deer Park runners, yeah.
Okay.
With those fluorescent, shiny, glow-in-the-dark uniforms.
Yeah, you're right, Mike. And in 3rd from Deer Park, Dade Collins. And in 4th from Deer Park, Daniel Ahmad. My apologies to the Deer Park fans.
Now we're really starting to see that field get stretched out, and this being a final as it is, it's going to start getting competitive here because we got just a little over 2 laps to go.
Gibson still leads. Dixon on his shoulder. And Deer Park's Dade Collins in 3rd. Those are your top 3 runners. And this is your bell lap. They've got 1 lap to go in the 3,200 meters as they cross the line.
My mistake, I said over 2 laps, just over 1 lap is what I meant. Here we go.
Gibson retains the lead. Can Dixon stay with him? Back straight on the bell lap. Collins will fade. Patrick Gibson finished 2nd in this race last year. He's got 3 steps on Dixon of White River. who seems to be struggling, but don't count him out. He's been there on the shoulder the whole way. Squalicum High School's Patrick Gibson. He's a junior. He's going to run down the front straightaway. He's got a lot left in the tank. Look at him go. State title is going to be his. Coming in at 9:01. Nice race for Dixon of White River. He is second. Third is going to be Baldassar of Aberdeen. And falling across in fourth is Collins of Deer Park. And Amon of Deer Park is fifth.
You know, that may be a new record, if I'm not mistaken. Carl, we got 9:01.84, and the previous record, I believe, was 9:05. That's smashing the record by 4 seconds.
Patrick Gibson of Squalicum wins the state championship, and it looks like he's got a state record. There's that young man with his hands on his head there. Boy, you're tired, but boy, do you feel good when you do it like that.
That last lap, he may have had a faster last lap than he did on most of the previous laps. He really turned it on. And that breaks the previous record by just over 4 seconds. That is what you call smashing a record right there. I mean, that is a substantial improvement on a previous record set back in 2007 by Chris Kwiatkowski.